Hello, and welcome to the Nonstop Podcast. My name is Erica, and I'm your host. On today's episode, I've brought a few friends together to discuss dating in your 30s and what it's actually like: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Nonstop is a travel and lifestyle podcast that promotes the importance of traveling and mental wellness for millennial women. We discuss everything from travel to dating and careers to mental health. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into this episode. So I want to go ahead and have these beautiful ladies here introduce themselves really quickly. I'm going to go with Ms. Nia. Go ahead and introduce yourself for us.
Podcast. I'm Nia. I'm 33, recently single. I've been divorced for about a year now. And so just, taking my time getting back in the swing of things.
Love it.
A lot of things has changed.
Believe it. All right, Kia, how about you?
Hi, I'm Kia. I'm 32. I am currently dating, have been for about a year and a half with the same man. I fly. I'm currently working on my master's degree in public health. During our break period of flying, I was working as a oncology researcher at MedStar. So, I'm gonna continue that path. But for now, we're gonna keep flying and seeing how this goes.
Okay, love it. Trecee?
Hey, I'm Trecee. I'm 34. I've been in Baltimore about 5 years, and I am in a relationship. We've been together for about 2 years.
Love it. Rebecca?
Hey, I'm Rebecca. I'm 31, originally from Maryland, but I live in very noisy New York City. So forgive me if I mute my mic because ambulances are just going up and down the block. But I recently just called off an engagement. So I'm newly single, dating, and getting my toe back in the water.
I'm not mad at that at all. All right. So let's go ahead and get to the thick of it. Why I brought you ladies together. So now that we have the introductions out the way, I'm going to start with Ms. Kia. So first question goes to you. When you decided to start dating, did you know exactly what you wanted from a relationship? And if so, what was it?
Absolutely. When I got ready to get back in there and really start dating again, I had been in I'd actually been in a 10-year relationship with a man who, quite frankly, did not care about me. And I just knew that I would never do that again. I, bent over backwards, did everything I could do, I felt like the woman that anyone, an ideal woman for anyone. And it was never enough. So instead of, trying to be that for them, I decided to be that for myself. And I had a list. I wrote it down. I manifested what I wanted in a man. I forgot to bring it, but I had it written down like, he'll make me laugh. He believes in God. He, little things about him he does little things to make me smile, things of that nature, just to make sure that the next relationship I go into, if he's not meeting these things, you know what I'm saying, and not necessarily everything on the head, but within that vicinity, I'm walking because I definitely learned my value. It's one of those things like, I'm putting myself first, and if you can come into line with that, then would be great. So definitely knew what I wanted, and I wasn't accepting anything less than that.
I hear that. Well, I'm not mad at it. All right, perfect. So next question, Trecee. Okay. So do you state your intentions up front when you meet a potential boo?
Absolutely. I think I believe in being transparent. I know that's not like the cool thing to do. Everybody wants to like play a game, but it's just not in me. So typically, I will say when I'm first dating someone, I'm almost always dating multiple people, but the intention is always to whittle it down to one person. And I think you have to be intentional about that. Like you can't, like I always like, I feel like even when you're dating multiple people, like you kind of like know who you really want. And, I've always strived to be intentional about what I want and being upfront about it. Obviously I think it's not always reciprocated. But I think, you know, as I've entered into my mid-30s, I've learned that that's okay. Like, I don't want anybody who doesn't want the same thing as me.
1000%.
And, you know, and that's where we could just end the conversation.
I like it. I
love that, actually. I mean, I feel like that's a big downfall. I think maybe like in our 20s, that was okay.
Yes.
Like if you, and I know, like you said, it might not be the popular opinion, but there's literally someone out there for anyone. So like, you know, you out there to play games, I promise there's someone else there that wants to do that. But like, if I tell you I want ABC and you trying to hit me with EFLAKJZ, no, let's just stop right here and go on to the next.
It'll just be excuses after excuses and why they can't and why it's not. It's just not worth it. Like, just leave it alone. Go away.
Waste of time. No.
Yeah, unnecessary drama I don't need right now.
Yes,
that's the one thing I can truly say, at least as of right now. I am loving just my peace.
Yes.
Like, I don't have to worry about nobody in their drama. Anybody I don't want to deal with, I don't deal with. Like, it's one thing that I think is new for me when it comes to being in my 30s. So
yeah, I loved being single when I was single. I loved it because, I mean, you just get to do what you want to do. Like, you don't really have to consider anyone's feelings. And, you know, and then as you enter your 30s, you really get to understand, you know, like being single is okay, especially if you're like at peace. Like, I mean, of course, I went through that phase where I saw, you know, all my close friends are married. They have kids. And I just had to be like, you know, that's just, it's, you know, I can't force anything just because because obviously, I do want to have kids and be married, but I'm not trying to force it. So
I don't want to sacrifice anything to have that, you know,
exactly.
Like, you want it to last.
Happiness.
That's important.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So next question is for Rebecca. Rebecca, what is the most challenging for you when it comes to dating in your 30s?
Girl. You know, I don't know if this is particularly a 30s thing. I know for myself, like I spent the last 7 years dating with the intent of being someone's wife. So now I have to keep reminding myself that like not every man you meet is your husband.
Yes.
Like, let's not try to make every man your husband. And like the first person I ever even like went out on a date with after my ex was like, whoa. All right. So I need to start trying to figure out like, how do I like line our lives up together? How do I make his life make sense with my life? And it's just like, no, honey, like go have a drink.
Yeah, literally.
Chill out. Like I didn't know how to be chill anymore. And also like, I think Kia said this, like games, like I didn't know how to play games. And I've been so used to just like professing my intention and my feelings unfiltered for people. And people don't do that. People are like,
no, especially not now.
I'm saying and doing two completely contradictory
And then when you do that, you're doing too much. And it's like,
it's me.
I'm crazy. Sometimes like I'm crazy. I'm like, all I said was I think we should go have a drink. I like you. I mean, what the heck?
You're crazy.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's been like my challenge is like, how do I oscillate between like, I'm chill, I'm cool, but also I have intentions and I do want those things in life. So am I wasting my time or am I just having a good time? Like it's a lot.
I feel like it depends on where you are. Like it kind of goes back to what Kia said. But I mean, it really depends, I think, where you are. If you're in the mode of like, I just want to have fun. Like, I'm not ready for whatever it is that, you know, comes with all the responsibilities. I'm just out here having fun. Or it depends on, okay, listen, like, I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to have these babies. Like, you know what I mean? So,
I think that's really important to state that too. I have a friend, he was married for about 8 years and he's, you know, he got married young, you know, pretty much right after high school. And they were together for so long, like, you know, that's all you knew. And now, you know, you're starting over. He's got 3 kids and, you know, what does he do? And I'm like, you know, he came out there playing games with his son. I said, stop it. You're in your 30s, cut it out. Like, if you want to play, but don't be playing with nobody's feelings, you know, making it seem like you want something serious and you're just trying to, like, you know, have your fun. Do that. That's fine. Be very clear about that.
Communication is key.
Absolutely.
And that's how you end
And
up on Dateline. Keep playing with people's
transparency.
Yeah,
emotions.
and transparency. Yeah.
Women are not here playing for that. No,
Hello.
we're trying to, establish something, but that doesn't go for everyone. Some of us are just looking out to like go have a drink, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. Maybe you want a friend, but just be very clear about what your intentions are.
1000%. All right, and Miss Nia, do you feel more confident now dating versus in your 20s? Why or why not?
I definitely feel more comfortable now. Now, just getting kind of back in the swing of things. Like in my 20s, I was more so, oh, well, I felt like I wasn't really being myself, because,
Also,
just, wanting to, I guess, do everything right. In a sense, not wanting them to look at me like, oh, well, you're too loud, or even like you're too shy, just trying to, I guess, accommodate them or make them feel more comfortable, and I'm not being true to myself. And so now in my 30s, I know who I am. I love who I am. It's either you take it or you leave it. If you don't like it, then
That's okay.
that's fine. Everyone is not for me. I'm not for everyone.
Yeah. I like the way that everybody's kind of coming to that same realization, and I feel like that's something you do in your 30s.
Yes.
I didn't necessarily feel that in my 20s.
Like, oh, you don't like this? Okay.
I was so insecure as a 20-year-old. It was always, like I said, I was people pleased, and I was trying to be whatever he wanted me to be. That's who I was. But now I think that's one of the things I love most about my relationship is that he accepts the corny, the baby in me, the princess in me, all of that. He accepts it, he embraces it, and it's okay. Like I don't feel like I've ever had to put on a hat for him ever. It's just exactly
it's a great feeling
Mm-hmm.
to just be able to be yourself.
Yeah,
all the time. Never just something different ever so often. I love that. So, and I'll never go back.
I was dating this guy, and he was big on like looks, and he was a stickler. One time I think I had red lipstick on, and he was like, "Oh, that is just not cute." Like it really made me feel so insecure.
How dare you? How dare you?
Yes, and I said, "Okay, I didn't know you were the police, the lipstick police."
Right.
But it just really something so small though. It really bothered me, and it really kind of
not
played.
Really small though. I don't
That's
think
not
that's
small at all. I definitely have been in that situation as well.
Yes, because that's like a little thing where next time he'll say, "Oh, what about your clothes? Oh, you're not leaving like that."
It's a red flag.
And that can snowball real quick. There's nothing small about that one.
Yeah, it was a red flag.
Yeah, I remember dating this guy, and mind you, like every day we went on, like if he wasn't dressed up in his suit for work, he looked like a total bum. And I remember one time he was like, "Oh, I don't like that jacket that you wear. It's ugly." And I'm like, "Well, I don't like how you look most of the time." Like, but you have to accept people for who you are. And I just think that went to show like that he's just not the person for me.
Yeah.
Like something so small and I always find that when people start picking at you over small stuff, the bigger thing is coming next.
Yeah. And it's generally an insecurity about whatever they're going through, what they have and what they don't have. I don't have time for that.
He would even make comments like, "Oh, I wish your butt was a little bigger." And it just was like, okay. I got to a point where I was like, okay, I can't do this because you're trying to tear me down, and it's not working.
But I feel like those type of guys, then they want to tear you down so much so that you can't go nowhere, or you don't feel like you deserve anybody better or anybody to treat you right. That's a whole different. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole conversation right there.
Okay, but the audacity of these men.
Exactly.
I mean,
audacity for me.
I can't. All right. So next question, Trecee. How do you feel about dating someone 40 years old or older, and would you date someone in their 20s? I saw that, Nia. I saw you.
Because I want to answer this question too. But
when you say dating somebody who's in their 40s,
in their 40s or older, or
would you date someone in their 20s? In their 20s or 20, because that's two different things.
Well, okay. So first question is, would you date someone 40 or older?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love an old man. Like, don't get it twisted.
Wait. What's an old man to you though? Because right now, I used to think 30 was old, and here I am, and
that's true. I'm saying that, but I'm on the cusp of 35.
There you go. Right.
But 40 will be perfectly fine for me. 45 will be fine. After that, I don't know. There you go. pushing it. Like,
Okay.
and
What
then
about someone in their 20s or 20 or 20s?
no, I mean, it depends. So if I'm being like real 100, it depends on his financial situation and his maturity level. I don't have time to be dating and nobody broke at this age. Like, I'm not doing it. You can't take me nowhere. We can't do nothing. Like, I've done that in my 20s, especially at like 2021, where we're still in school.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I
I feel like that's something you can do in your 20s.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
you don't have maybe, a certain
It
amount of
didn't
money or
matter.
whatever.
I didn't have anything either. Or I
You know
was
what I'm saying?
working, in school, going to grad school,
Yeah.
trying to get myself together. So the fact that he like only had, so much money and we could only go on a date, once every month
Yeah.
or whatever was fine. But at 30 plus, no, I'm good. Leave me alone. Next thing you're gonna be asking me to pay your phone bill. I'm good.
Oh,
No.
hell no.
But if he's like 28 and established,
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
I would consider it. Like, I've dated younger before. It never works out because they're usually just like not in the same place.
Yeah.
That's always kind of how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, Nia, you want to piggyback.
Yes. It's funny that this is the topic because I'm actually dating an older guy, and like he's significantly older. She said 45. He is. I kind of call him Pop.
Oh,
but
no.
Wait,
it's an inside secret, me and my girlfriends. But
I was gonna say, you don't have to put no identifying information.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's 53.
Okay.
I mean,
yes, but when I tell people this, like it's nothing too serious. But he kind of is like a breath of fresh air, to be honest. He's not playing games. He's very upfront, but it's not overbearing. He understands the situation that I'm in. I'm not looking for anything serious at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he's been divorced. He has grown kids. He has grandkids. He has grandkids.
Okay.
But but he's like a young. You wouldn't, if you saw him, you wouldn't think he was 53. But yeah. So I'm actually enjoying it.
I actually have a follow-up for that one. Do you think it would be different if you weren't in your circumstance that you're in now, in the sense of like recently divorced and have a kid? Because I think somebody in their 50s might actually make sense because you guys have similar experiences. You're kind of in the same place family-wise, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Wait, okay.
So
you're asking, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess my question is, do you think if you didn't have a child or you weren't recently divorced, would you still be attracted to that type of guy? Or that age bracket of man? Just
I would
because
say
you guys
yes.
have similar backgrounds.
I would say yes, only because when I met him, we used to work together. When I met him, I was 19, and we kind of, hooked up.
Oh, he been looking at you for a minute, young thing. Okay, all right.
Watching you.
And I actually had to ask him though. I was like, because I know of someone else that he was in a relationship with, and she is a year older. So I said, "Do you have a thing for young girls?" I just wanted to make or younger women. Like, I don't make sure it's not a fetish or anything. But he said no. He's just attracted to who he's attracted to.
Yeah.
But
see, I think I could probably do it if he's like in shape, active.
Oh yes.
So,
it's not. He's not a sloppy.
I guess realistically, 53 is not the same 53 when I was
It's
living.
not. It's really.
I
was just thinking that. So when I first started flying back when I was 26, I was seeing he was about 40, 42. He had a 21-year-old son. I remember that. Like I remember.
Y'all not playing with these guys.
And he was almost as old as me, and I was just like, okay, like you're not. You have grown kids, but he was very chill. The vibe was so different from what it was, but neither one of us were really looking for anything serious, so it never blossomed into anything but it was just nice to just be together. And like you said, I've dated younger when I was younger, but even dating younger, unless his financials are there, usually their mind is just not there, and I'm not there to build you up. I'm done doing that. You know,
Right.
if
That's
you're not
over.
at my level, that's not something I'm interested in doing anymore. So
Nobody's trying to build a man at this
No.
point.
No. And like would love to have an intellectual conversation with someone.
Exactly.
Not to say that ignorance doesn't span the entire
Because it definitely
age
does.
spectrum.
Please say it one more time for the people in the back.
Okay,
Yeah.
I heard there were some master's degrees on the call. So if we can't talk about some deep thought-provoking things because you're still like running the streets or just being a hooligan, it's absolute no. But caveat to that, I did go on a date with this 42-year-old, which is old to me. Old to me, okay? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. And in the 2 hours of us knowing one another, because that would be the first and last time we ever saw each other.
Oh my gosh.
Like 2 hours into knowing this person, he says, well, you know, I did a lot of maturing over the pandemic and I just had my first heartbreak. And I was like,
At 40?
thank you. I was like, wow, you went
No,
40,
sir.
42
Goodbye.
years old
That's a red
and
flag.
just got your heart broken? But wait, here's the best part. He's like, yeah, you know, so I had to do a lot of growing up and now I just realized I have that daddy itch now. And I was like, oh, cool. Well,
Nice.
I was like, oh, cool. Well, I'm 31, so I'm definitely not thinking about having kids anytime soon. It's going to be late for me, dog. And he literally says, you just broke my heart. Because I was already imagining you in the Lamaze classes
No, he
with the maternity clothes.
And Lamaze classes.
That's so creepy.
Show me your age. Tell me you're old without telling me you're old. I was still doing Lamaze.
I cannot. Well, listen, that's an experience for you. But I bet
That was
you always got a story to tell because that one's different. I was like, okay, sir. Well, let's head back to Nia. Actually, would you date someone that you aren't actually interested in just to have someone to spend time with? Why or why not?
No, because I like to spend time by myself. I don't have time to. No, thank you. I would not. If I'm not interested in you, we don't have any. Because I already don't like my time being wasted. I don't like talking on the phone really. So if I'm not interested, then what are we doing? I'm not, and I don't want to lead you on. I don't want to lead him on. So no.
Interesting. Anybody else?
No.
You're like no.
I wouldn't, but it's not to say that I haven't, but not because of like how you think. Like, so for me, it's always like these guys in the friend zone and you like, oh, like we're genuinely friends, you know, and I'm thinking we're friends and I'm going out with you thinking that we're cool. And then 6 months later, you're in love with me. And I'm just like,
wait,
I thought you was cool.
Yeah.
And now you don't want to talk.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So I feel like it can be problematic because I think and it shouldn't be, but a lot of times I thought like when I was single, found myself hanging out with guys like, oh, this the homie, but he was really interested. So that's why I have a policy
lack of communication that can happen easily. And I've done that. I've hung out with some people that I knew good and well. I wasn't about to not a bit. And I was like, hey, but I think it comes with maturity. I never really liked confrontation when I was younger, in my 20s. So I was just like, oh yeah, we good, we cool, we can go on a date. And he's all in love, and I'm just like, I got 15 other guys back here that I'm trying to talk to. What's good,
Right.
So I don't know. It depends.
So I will say, when I met my boyfriend, I met him on Bumble. And I was scrolling. I had, a Rolodex of, whoever I was talking to. And I could not get a feel on his pictures. Like he seemed kind of cute, but I was like, his conversation was good enough for us to go on a date with. And I had a 3 virtual date rule. But his conversation was so good that I was like, we could just go out. And so I was like, if anything, maybe he'll have a cute friend because he's really cool. So we could
have a cute friend. Wait a minute.
Like, so when we met and we went, out to eat, we were at season 52, and when he pulled up, like I said, he took his mask off, and I was like, oh, no, we on a date. This is the date.
Oh, game done changed. All right.
I will say I had intentions on putting him in the friend zone, just kind of getting a feel of like, being, at the time I was really just looking for company. I spent enough time on my own. And every so often you do just want to go out, and meet some people. And it was in the middle of the pandemic. I was bored. So
I was bored. That's real though. That is so real. But I actually want to come back to you, Kia, and I want to ask you, what are your top dating red flags and green flags? And then tell us why.
Top dating red flags.
I like how she thought about that. She said,
I do have to think about that. So I am very indecisive. So I don't like to play that, well, where you want to meet up? What do you want to do? Like, I really love a man who knows what he wants. And like, when we decided where we're going, okay, I'll come to you. Okay, we'll go to season 52. Just there it is. Not I kind of want to go out to eat. Well, what are you in the mood for? None of that. Opening my doors. I've been in a relationship for 1.5 years, and like it was during a snowstorm when the first time I had to open my own door, and it was like he was like, "Look, either I'm gonna open your door, or I'm gonna get the car warm. One of the two." So like, I don't open doors. That's a hard one to think of right off top, but I like for like during while we're on our date, like I do not like to see a man who's on his phone 24 hours. I know like it's a really bad habit, but I do not like to see that, you have other things going on. Like, you put your phone down on top of a conversation. And like, that was definitely something that struck me, for him was definitely a green flag. I'm just trying to think back on my day, little things like I was checking off my list, but I mean, I guess like little things like that. Don't be too forward. When it was time for us to go, he opened my door, and that was that. No, like, expecting anything out of me. At the time, we were just talking on Bumble. So he was like, I remember going into the bathroom, taking a selfie and thinking like, okay, we're not going to ask him for his number. We're just going to see how things go. And so when we got to my car, he was like, so can I have your number? And I was like, yes. But yeah, that's all that comes to mind right now. If I can think of anything else, I'll let you know. But anyway,
what about any red flags?
Red flags? Other than the phone thing, and maybe like, not being too forward, expecting anything out of me. Please don't, what are you doing me all day long the next day? Please do not blow my phone up with that.
Yes, get you some business.
Hello.
You're doing something other than trying to text me all day, because I'm not here for it. I am, a working professional. So please. Yeah. That's all I
like those answers.
That what you're doing is so irritating to me. Like, I'm working or I'm doing something. What are you? Something you should be doing.
Right.
Yeah. A man that's doing something, like, I love that you might like want to talk to me or whatever the case is, but I'm like, you can have your own life.
Absolutely.
Because that can get really crazy really quick. If somebody's constantly like trying to be under you and next to you or talking to you, I'm like, you don't have nothing to do? Nothing? So yeah, I get that. All right. So Rebecca, how do you think online dating has changed the dating scene?
I mean, listen, I just started it. So I remember when Tinder was the new thing, like 7 or 8 years ago, and I was on it for one literal day because someone creeped me out so much on the app. I was like, oh no, delete.
What did they do? What did they say?
I had it, like, I was still in school, and some friends like convinced me to download it, and like I'm swiping and I'm seeing all these cute guys, and I've like matched with this guy, and we were kind of chatting, and the conversation was very like mundane, right? It was like, oh, where do you live? I live here. Oh, what do you like to do? I like to do this. And then he was like, oh, well, how tall are you? And I was like, 5'7". And he's like, oh, I'm 6'4". And I'm like, okay, cool. Why are you asking me how tall I am? He's like, oh, I'm just trying to figure out how we gonna match up when we lay down.
Oh no!
Wow.
And I was like,
oh,
you haven't even like met me in person, taking me out. Like, I could be a catfish. You could be a catfish.
We don't care, clearly.
Like, I was like, oh no, please, no, thank you.
He's in it for the one thing. Clearly, that was him letting you know.
Absolutely, and that's just not where my head was at. But I think like the whole game has changed as far as dating because we now have all these options,
Yes.
right? Which is kind of, I think, as a woman trying to date these new aged online men, like none of them want to commit to anything real. Even if you're just looking to have a good time, it's like, oh, I got 50 other options, or like I could find another you tonight.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to make a concrete commitment to anyone anymore. So that's where I think like the downside of it is. But if you look at it the same way, upside is like, yeah, there are more options. Like I could match with someone across the country.
Yeah.
I could match with someone in Germany. Like, I don't know.
I just want to piggyback off of that. I was my first time and only time on a dating app, just talking to this guy, and the first couple of questions he asked me was, "So when are you gonna cook for me?" Sir, I don't even know you. I'm not your mother. Like, what? Yeah, and I think I just was like, let me delete this because this is not for me. But why would you ask me when I'm going to cook for you? You don't even know my name. Like, what are we doing?
I think a lot of that times, I mean, and maybe it's just my experience. I feel like a lot of guys are trying to compare you to their mother subconsciously. Like they want to be taken care of. So when are you going to cook? You know, I always get that. Do you cook? I'm sure you can cook, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. Actually, I don't cook at all. How about that? But I mean, like the basic things that they had growing up or they didn't have. I feel like sometimes they want to put on their potential other, you know?
And I want to say, well, do you fix tires? You want us to do all this stuff?
My oil check.
Do you pay for oil changes and service like my dad does? If not,
and that's the one thing.
Stay at home. I'm just.
Do you slay dragons?
How do you slay dragons, though?
Can you hunt? When are you going to hunt for me?
Exactly.
I like deer meat.
Can you catch a fish with your bare hands? Like,
I mean.
I will say, sorry, just to kind of like double back on the online thing. So like before I met my boyfriend, I was seeing a guy that he was my best friend's best friend. And, you know, he tried to hook us up and we were talking for about like 9 months. And like within our 6-month peak, I was like, so, you know, we're going to get this a little bit more serious. He lived in Louisiana, so he was kind of far. But, you know, I made the commute to go see him, but it was slowly but surely just kind of like slowing up and I didn't understand what was happening. And then all of a sudden he hit me with, in 9 months, it was the first time I was hearing, well, I've been hurt in the past and, you know, I don't think I'm really ready to be in a real relationship yet. And I'm like, where is this coming from? So he told me, he said, you know, if you want to go date, you know, you can do that because I guarantee you won't find anyone like me and blah, blah, blah. He wanted me to wait for him. And when I tell you, I was like, say less. My friend said, on the apps, girl, just try it, you know. And I mean, I had been on the apps before and I had actually met a guy that we're still cool. He was, you know, it was a good time when I was in college, but I was like, you know, because I had such a good experience, I didn't want to ruin it again by getting back on the apps, which is why I kind of steered away from them. But, you know, it was COVID times. And when, you know, I decided to get back on, like I said, I was talking to a few people, but this one here was just like, you know, that's just kind of how it went. But I definitely feel like I didn't completely close out all options of trying, you know, the conventional way of dating, but it just, these men.
Like, your story is my story. Before I met I actually met my boyfriend on Hinge, but before I met him, I was dating like a friend of a friend. And, you know, he lived kind of far from me. And we were trying to make it work. And, you know, we dated like maybe like a year and a half without like a define the relationship. And even at like, I think like a year, I was just kind of like, well, where is this going? Because at first I wasn't worried about it because we were far apart. But then I moved a lot closer to him and I'm like, well, you know, what are we doing? But what I have always learned is when you have to ask, you already know the answer.
Say that.
It don't matter how good because we had a great relationship. He treated me well. He came to see me, did all the things that boyfriends do, like all of the things that boyfriends do, but didn't want to commit. And then I just had to kind of just come to the realization that it wasn't going to happen, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And I'm like, we still talk too. I mean, he was so sick when he realized I really started dating my boyfriend. Was like, this is a real thing. But and now, let him tell it now. Like, if I want to, we can get married tomorrow and everything's okay. But no, that's not how it works. You missed your chance.
Yeah, how dare you?
Right.
When it comes to dating my boyfriend, we dated for a good 2 months, and I was like, "So where's this going? You want a relationship?" Yes. They left.
Exactly. That's how I was too.
Easy as it was.
See, I love that. So, Trecee, what are you looking for in a partner, and what do you need your partner to bring to the relationship?
I think so. For me, I guess I'll just speak on my current partner and why we go together so well. He accepts me for who I am. He also supports me emotionally, and deals with all of my internal dramas that I come up with, and we have a great relationship. I need someone who I can talk to. Like, that's a big thing for me. If we can't talk on the phone for hours, you're just not gonna be for me, and that's okay. Like, I know everybody isn't a phone person, and I actually am not a phone person, but I always know I have a good connection with a guy when I can sit and talk to him for a long time.
Yeah.
And great character. That's very important. Like, somebody, he is I don't want to give him too much, but he's a stand-up guy. Like, he has good character. I actually, I need to be with somebody who I can trust. Who I don't have to like, oh, whoa, are you doing what you say you were doing? So those are the things that are important to me. And what was the second question?
What do you need him to bring to the relationship?
Financial stability is important. What else? Good character. Somebody who's going to be a true leader in a relationship. I don't want to have to be doing everything or trying to come up with, our plan. I can't stand that. And then somebody who just likes to have fun and likes to do the things that I like to do. So I will say my boyfriend doesn't like to do everything, but he'll do stuff for me. So
I think that's a big thing. It's compromise.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so Rebecca, are there any issues from your past relationships that still affect you when you're dating?
Oh God, yes.
I mean, we got to talk about something, right?
No, truly. I mean, I think I'd be lying if I said that there aren't like specific triggers or things that trigger me. And that could be friendships. Our parents are triggers as we like. If you had a model of what a relationship is supposed to look like, I surely didn't. So all those things come into play. Like, I feel like there's that Zach Galifianakis meme where he's like doing the math. And I hate to be this way because I am naturally a go with the flow kind of person. But especially now, and I don't know if you guys agree, like the older you get, you feel like the stakes are a little higher. We have biological clocks we need to line up. Like, it feels like, I don't want to make a mistake.
Pressure.
Yeah. So much pressure. So it's a lot of mental calculation. Like, is that a trigger? Is that something I'm willing to deal with? Is that a red flag on the play? Am I gonna like
am I overthinking?
Am I? I had told my dad with the guy that I'm dating right now, is like, it seems a little too perfect. Like, I'm waiting for like the other shoe to drop here. Like, something has to be wrong. And my dad was like, well, you can't, look at every guy and wait for something to be wrong. So that's not going with the flow. That's not experiencing them fully because you're constantly like not taking whatever they're giving you and processing that. You're waiting for something to be like, something ain't right here. So that's one thing, because I spent a long time in a relationship where I was ready to like commit and do the thing. And kind of going back to the previous question about like what you look for in a person, my thing is support. And I felt like I wasn't being supported as the individual in the relationship, that I realized that the two of us were on two different pages in two different books. So I'm like, so any other person is like, are you down with what I do for a living? Are you down with me being a boss? Like,
I hear that.
All of these things, I'm doing mental calculations, like, So, yeah, I'm definitely triggered. I mean, we all have experiences that inform the way in which we walk this earth.
And it's funny, Nia, I actually want to talk to you kind of piggybacking off of that specific question. Now, do you go into new relationships healed? Like, I know a lot of people, I guess my question is, are you willing to heal the emotional wounds prior to your dating or prior to starting to date? Kind of similar question.
So I guess for me, I can date, and when I say date, just like literally go on dates and have casual conversation, and I feel like I can heal at the same time. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I can multitask. Now, if someone says like, "Oh, are you ready to be in a relationship?" Then it's like no, because I'm still in that healing process, and I actually it's been about, I feel like I've been healing for a year, but you don't realize like divorce is, I'm grieving, or I was grieving at least, it's a loss. And I didn't realize that until after like the papers were signed. And it just was so emotional. I felt like I had lost someone, and then my girlfriend was like, "You're grieving, you did just lose someone. This was a big chunk of your life that is gone, or that has," because he's still there, because we have a child together, so he's still around, but it's different, so but to answer your question, I think I'm healing and dating at the same time, but letting it be known that I am healing from this, from this loss. And so hopefully, they're okay with it. If not, that's fine too.
Yeah, I would say that, when I go through breakups, I'm finna date through this, because who's not about to sit at home and cry is me.
I love
I take all the trips. I take myself shopping. You want to go on a date? I remember, I'll never forget this. Me and a guy had broken up. A guy had dated for about a year. And literally, well, he was doing things, so I found that out, and that weekend I had a date on Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
And it wasn't to get back at him or anything like that, but I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So this is what you're doing? Oh no, I'm
this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit at home and eat ice cream.
And I was sad, but I was able to heal through it, meet new people.
And sometimes I think that's super helpful, just in general.
Definitely helped me get over
it. Just getting back out there too.
People having new conversations, doing different things. It's extremely helpful, I think. So let's see. Kia, how would you rate your communication style 1 to 10? And why would you rate it that way?
I would rate my communication. I'm going to say a 5. And I'll say a 5 because for the most part, I do get out what I need to get out. Like, I get a good amount of the things that you need to know. I will get it out. Now, I say that with a disclaimer because when my feelings are hurt, when you do something that I don't like, you probably won't, well, especially in my relationships. And I've actually gotten a little bit better at this now that I think about it. We were just talking about this the other day, but like, you probably won't hear from me right away. So I'm not going to call you out on it because especially when my feelings are hurt, I'm going to sit there and I'm just not going to say anything. And I'm going to think about it because for one, I don't want to come off confrontational. I want to make sure that I'm one of those people who will write a whole letter in my notes and make sure that I got bullet points. So when I come at you, I come out with everything. So you hurt my feelings last week and today we're going to talk about it. So listen, you did this and I didn't like that. And he's just like, you can say that. No, I couldn't have said it then. So we're going to talk about it right now, though. I want you to know, don't do that again.
Okay. So I have actually, I'm a have another question for you, kind of back that up. Now, would you consider yourself to be emotionally available? Why or why not?
Absolutely. I for the most part, I'm an open book when it comes to everything emotions. I feel everything. I feel all of your emotions. I feel all of my emotions. I feel like for in my relationships, I tend to be that person that likes to. I want to talk. When you have the time, I want to talk and I want to know how you're feeling. And I want to know, let's have a check-in. When we first started dating, every month we did a check-in. We did a check-in for a good 6 months. How we doing? What do you think? Anything I need to change? Anything you don't like about this? the way I do this. Like, let's just talk it out. Let's see, how we're doing.
Yeah, no, I don't do check-ins. I probably should add that. So I want to close in because I know we're coming up to the hour mark, so I don't want to hold you guys too long. But I do want to ask everybody one specific question, and like I said, I'll ask the same question to everyone. Now, for anyone who's having a hard time dating in their 30s, what advice or what do you suggest they do or try? And Nia, I want to start with you.
I would say the first thing that comes to mind is date yourself. Like, date yourself, get to know yourself. A lot of times, we go in, or we just kind of rush things, and we don't even know ourselves. So I think dating, if just trying to get out there, see what you like, see what you don't like, and just take it slow. And being 30, it's a lot of pressure on her. Like I believe Rebecca was saying, it's a lot of pressure on us to have kids, to be married, to do all these things. Because now, I know when I was 18, I thought 30 was old.
Hello.
And I thought I was gonna have all this stuff. And so now being 33, it's kind of like, oh, you don't got it all together, girl.
But
and that's okay. But that's okay. So I think I would go back to what I said about dating yourself, figuring out what you like, what you don't like. And then you can take that into dating someone else, getting to know someone else.
I love it. What about Kia?
I really feel like she said it all, and I think that it's very important to, write out what you want. Do you really know what you want? Make sure that you understand, like, what you're going to. If you met your dream guy tomorrow, would you be ready for him? Are you what he's looking for? I feel like, a lot of times we have these crazy expectations about a relationship, and you're not even ready to give that. So it takes a lot of, looking into yourself and making sure that, you're even prepared for that. I know getting out of that 10-year relationship, I was not. I kept thinking like, I was ready to be in a relationship and I just want to get over this. But to be honest, like coming from where I am to where from where I was, like I'm a whole different person. And I think about that a lot. Like with my boyfriend, I'm glad I met him when I did. I was not ready for him, prior to. So I'm just kind of happy that I knew what I wanted. I kind of, have that idea of what I will accept, what I won't accept. And like, being able to grow with someone, I think is very important. Now, I remember what I was going to say about that question. It's just that, in that relationship, there was no growth. I was just stunted trying to be with someone who didn't want to be with me. But like in this relationship, I bought a house after he bought a house because he pushed me to buy a house. Like, what I'm saying? He helps me grow. He helps me learn. And, we grow together. And I think that's so important in any relationship, intimate or not. But going back to the question, I definitely think it's important for you to kind of understand what you want before you even start looking for anything else. What RuPaul say, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else?
So. Talk to him, right? All right, Trecee, what you say? Any advice?
I would say keep an open mind and open heart. I see a lot of people, once they get our age and they're still single, that they get, I'm not going to say bitter, but just like jaded by the whole dating experience. Most people by now have had like a first love and that didn't work out, or, you've gone through a couple of situations and it can be hard to bounce back, especially depending on your personality type. I think it's important to keep, a positive outlook on dating, despite what the media and social media and everyone is telling us. I think that's important. I also think when dating, it's important to have boundaries and to be transparent. So if you're going to date somebody and you want this, then don't settle for nothing else. And that's that. Like, and I have a conversation, with people that I know, my girlfriends, like, if you don't like that he does that, then just don't deal with it. So just making sure you have firm boundaries on what you will and won't accept. And then, have fun. Like, it's fun. Like, we in our golden, listen, we are in these good years. Like, you're not in your 20s no more. So you might have a little change. Know yourself.
Nice little
like, you living your best life.
Yeah.
Like, just have a good time.
Yes. 1000%. Rebecca, how about you?
I mean, everything these lovely ladies said. I mean, I think it's so important to know, and I'm still figuring out for myself. That's why I'm sitting here like, but like the knowing what you want, right? Because then nobody can tell you anything different. There's nothing for you to accept. Like they said, if it's not what you want, then you have that wherewithal to just walk away from it. A lot of people stay in situations that they don't really want to be in because they're afraid of the unknown. They're afraid of not being someone's companion or having companionship or just the process of which it takes to find somebody new. I mean, that's not easy within itself. Yeah, that can be scary. A lot of people just don't want to be alone. So they will put up with the bullshit, right? So it's like knowing what you want, right? And if that's fun, like I also had to tell myself, like sometimes it's fun being bad. Sometimes it's fun knowing that this will not serve me in any positive way other than this moment of instant gratification.
And sometimes that's all you need, is all you want, right?
Yeah, I've been there too. It's like, all right, I just want an instant moment of gratification. Being open, right? Because a lot of people are bitter if it's not happening for them on that timeline. Like we've said before, I remember being 19, 20 with my college sweetheart thinking I'd be married to him by 27, have my kids by 30, and be at like the peak of my career by 30. And like none of that happened, right? So like, how do you move forward with being light and being the light? Because people are attracted to your light. People see things in you that they either see in themselves or they desire to have around them. So if you have dark energy, if you're bitter, if you're like sad, if you're not open to new experiences or like possibility of something, nobody's going to come to that. That's going to turn them off. And that's not just a romantic relationship. That's friendships, that's jobs. Like
you guys to kind of talk about your businesses if you have, and just let people know where they can find you on social. You want to start with you, Rebecca?
Oh, okay. I was just about to mute myself. Well, I'm a professional opera singer and actress. So you can follow me on Instagram at RHARGROV, Hargrove without the E. You can find most of my stuff there, links to my websites, also filmmaker. So if you'd like to follow my film, Last Call the Film, on Instagram at lastcall.thefilm. Written, produced, and I star in it, and my best friend Kedron Spencer directed it. We co-wrote it together, and we're looking to get that wrapped up in the can this year and have a screening soon. So you can follow the film and all of our updates with that as well.
Wonderful. And I'm going to get all the links, and I'll put that down in the description so everybody can find that as well. And Trecee, how about you?
Well, you can follow my life at Trecee Fab on Instagram, and that's at TRECEEFAB.
Perfect. And Kia?
Nice. I do crew tags for those who are flight attendants. I'm still working on a website, but you can find me on Etsy for now. It's Tooflyco, TOOFLYCO. Yeah. So far, that's all I've got.
Love it. And Nia, where can folks find you?
Well, I feel like I need to get some business after hearing that. I need to get some business. I'm gonna have to work with some things. But I just have Instagram. Just following me and my kid, Redlip, REDLIP_NY.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I really, really appreciate you guys taking out the time and talking to me. I feel like we had such a great conversation that could have actually gone even longer than this, but I really, really appreciate it, honestly. And to my Next Stop Nonstop family, I want to remind you that as a new podcast, it's extremely helpful when our listeners are able to write a review on iTunes and repost the episode link and the website link so that we can grow. I want to truly thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I'm so excited for you guys to see the first season of the Next Stop Nonstop podcast. Make sure you tag at Next Stop Nonstop in any of your comments, or if you have any topic suggestions, or if you just have a question for me. At Next Stop Nonstop can be found on all social media. Be sure to sign up for the Next Stop Nonstop newsletter on our website, www.nextstopnonstop.com, to stay up to date with any episode releases or any fun goodies I'll have on the way. And until we meet again, I want to wish you all healthy minds and happy travels.